Hi friends, welcome to vlog number 3. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. It just blesses my heart every time that you show up and we get to be together, even though again it's very kind of one-sided. This is going to make you laugh. The hazards of working from home. So we're on my porch again. I'm just not over on my swing, but I had the first vlog all rolling probably about 6 minutes in, and neighbor decided to mow with a great big mower, really, really loud anyway. So I had to start over, but I thought that might make you chuckle. Doesn't that kind of stuff happen to us all the time in life? We just start doing something and then the neighbor decides to mow. I can't blame them for that. They live there, but anyway, just thought I would give you that little chuckle today. So today, we've got a lot to cover today, so I'm just going to dive right in. Today we are going to talk about hearing the voice of God. Now, last time we were together, I asked you to read a couple of chapters out of First Kings, and I want to let you know that I haven't forgotten about that, and we are going to revisit that. I have the next couple of vlogs kind of scheduled as far as what we want to talk about, but for this week, the Lord put this on my heart, and I'm trying very hard, ironically enough, to hear his voice and what he has to say. And somebody this week needs to hear this. So we're going to talk about this today. The title, in case you didn't notice when you tuned in, of the vlog today is Are You There, God? And it really can feel like that sometimes, can it, friends? Like, you know, he's not in your circumstance. He's just not talking to you. You're not feeling comforted. You're not feeling strong, and just all kinds of things are coming against you, and God seems to be silent. Well, here's the good news. First of all, we never have to ask that question, are you there, God? Because he is ever present and all the time. It's a fun little word called omnipresent, and that just means he is everywhere all the time. And the other good news is he doesn't change. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So let's just alleviate our thoughts or fears or concerns that God would ever disappear from us, because he doesn't. He's always there. We just have to call on him, but we also have to listen. And there's where the interesting part comes in, is hearing the voice of God. And that can sound and feel different to all of us. For me, it's mostly a gentle urging or nudging to do something, or do something in a certain way, or maybe a certain decision to make. He just kind of pushes me and lets me know that that's the right way to go, but it's never anything super definitive. But here's the fun thing. We would expect a God that is omnipresent, that is all powerful. We would expect to hear his voice in these big ways, like, you know, he has the capability to destroy the earth and has done that before. Back in the days of Noah, by flood, by fire, he could just blink and we would like all be gone. But when he chooses to talk to us, it tends not to be through those big events. I'm not telling you that it never can. He came to Moses, I believe it was, in a burning bush, and, you know, that was a big deal. And so that really caught Moses' attention, but it does not always happen that way. As a matter of fact, 9 times out of 10, it does not. I'm going to right now read to you from 1 Kings 19. I'm not reading this to you because I don't think you can read, but I just want us to all be on the same page. This is a pretty amazing story, and it's about Elijah. Elijah was a prophet, a good prophet, a devoted. He was one of the few men that was ever taken from this earth without having to suffer death. And you'll see that if you continue to read into 2 Kings. But the interesting thing is, the Israelites were misbehaving here. And even though he was a great prophet, the Israelites were killing prophets right and left. So he was scared, and he was hiding in the mountains. We're all human. We would feel that way. I don't care how strong of a believer we are. When things threaten our lives, we get afraid. And so the Lord was asking Elijah. He wanted to know why he was there. He knew where he was, but you know what he was doing and why he was there. And Elijah explained to him what was going on, like he needed to. Didn't, but that's okay. But here's the interesting thing. So I'm beginning again. This is chapter 19, verse 11. The Lord said, "Go out and stand on the mountain in the presence of the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by." Then a great and powerful wind tore the mountains apart and shattered the rocks before the Lord, but the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind there was an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. When Elijah heard it, he pulled his cloak over his face and went out and stood at the mouth of the cave. So a couple of really important things here are things that I consider to be really important. And one is that the Lord chose not to be in these major events, not in the wind and not in the earthquake and not in the fire, but came as a gentle whisper. And the second thing I would like you to recognize is that Elijah positioned himself so that he could really hear the Lord. He went out to the mouth of the cave. He pulled his cloak over his face. Seeing as God is the holiest of holies, if we were to observe him with our own human eyes and in this human form, it just wouldn't go well. We would just like melt like butter. It wouldn't be a good thing. We just can't in our human form observe him. And Elijah knew that. And so he put his cloak over his face. And then the Lord's voice came in a gentle whisper. So that should be encouraging to us. And actually should encourage us to position ourselves in a way that we can hear his voice and we can be ready for that gentle whisper. We can be ready for that little nudge. And sometimes they are very little directives, things that don't seem like they're going to mean anything. And I'm going to give you just a quick example from my life from last week. So I was running some errands. I needed to do some shopping for the church and shopping for myself. Anyway, I don't care for Walmart. Just got to let you know. And it's not really convenient to me. Kroger is more convenient. It's on this side of town. So I was deciding where to go to run these errands. And I really tried to make good use of my time and make things logistically make sense so that I don't have to spend a lot of time out. And knowing that I know where everything is at Kroger, I don't know where everything is at Walmart. But I did have to be on that side of town a little bit, but still had the choice which store to go to. And Walmart just kept coming up, Walmart. And I did want to get some good prices. So I went on over to Walmart and did my shopping. Well, very long story short, as I was checking out, it's a nice little cashier. And her name was Sarah, and she was very helpful. And we began to talk. And it started with just a small question when I said, she said, "How are you?" And I said, "Fine, how are you?" And it was very apparent that this young lady just really needed to talk. She had some super heavy life issues on her heart. And so I was able to talk to her, and although it was very obvious that we were going to probably not agree on the path maybe that she was taking, I was able to say, "Sarah, if you wouldn't mind, I'm just gonna lift you up in prayer." And I didn't do it right there in the line. We could, of course, but there was a nice lady behind us, an older lady, and she was smiling as she was watching the interaction, so I think she was on board. So I asked Sarah's permission to just keep praying for her and her family in the situation. And all the way out of the store, she said, "Oh, God bless you, and I wish you would, and you know, I need all these prayers," and it's wonderful. Now, all that to say, if I hadn't listened to that gentle nudging to go to Walmart, even against my better intuition, then I would never have known to pray specifically for Sarah and her situation. We never would have had that interaction. I never would have been able to offer her maybe just a little bit of hope. So that's just one small way that we can listen. We just need to position ourselves and just be very attentive, because again, it doesn't often come in big ways, but sometimes in just the most smallest of whisper. But we need to be in a place that we can listen to that and we can hear that happen. So that's what we want to do. We want to be attentive to that. And after all, it is be still and know, right? It's be still and know. And that's the second part of the encouragement I would like to offer you, is in those times of silence. He does not say there won't be times of silence, and there will be. And I always just go to him when that happens in prayer and say, I'm feeling disconnected. I'm not feeling you, and I long to feel you. But it is in those times when your faith can deepen, because we just have to be still and know. That's all part of faith. We need to believe in those things that are not seen, but that we just absolutely know to be true. So if you're kind of in that spot today where you are maybe not hearing from God, or you're not sure you're hearing from God, or you're not sure how, just please bear that in mind, that a lot of times it's in the small ways and not in the big. He will come to you in the big earth-shattering ways. I guarantee it. it happens, and it definitely has happened for me a time or two. And as we go through this journey together, I will share some of those stories with you. But for now and for today, I want that to be a word of encouragement, that we never have to say, God, are you there? Because He is always there. He is omnipresent. He was always listening. Never feel like your prayers are a waste. Position yourself so that you can hear Him and be ready to hear that small whisper, feel that gentle nudge, maybe just to do that little thing. And it may seem like an insignificant decision for the day, but it could be a huge decision for somebody else. Just one other, just real quick little story. A friend of mine sent me a card last week just to encourage me on this ministry journey, and it was so encouraging to me. And so I let her know. I sent her a little Facebook Messenger thing and let her know. So Lori, if you're watching, again, thank you for that. She obviously listened to the Lord's nudge and, and sent an encouraging note to a friend. People just don't send notes anymore. And it just blessed my heart 100-fold. Really put some wind under my wings and made me understand and know that I'm doing the right thing. And it's all good, and we can do all things that Christ wants us to do through Him and His strength and His power. So tune in next time. As I said, I already have a few of these lined up and planned out, and we're going to talk about some fun stuff and just continue this journey together. Thank you again for joining me today. I appreciate it, and we will see you next time. Be blessed.